My friends, I have been waiting almost 5 months to say this. It is time to hug it out. Even though TNT didn't show that amazing display of goalie brotherhood, the Bruins have won the first game of the season against the Washington on the road against the Washington Capitals. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome to a brand spanking new season of Into the Den. I'm your esteemed host, 100 Bex. And honestly, I am just so happy that hockey's back. I know we had the preseason. And I have my thoughts about that. Namely, Jakub Zboril came out of the gate in the preseason looking like he was asking everybody, what ACL tear? Jakub Zboril was amazing. I loved him during the preseason, and throughout this game, and throughout this first game, I will say he was the Bruins' best defenseman. He was one of, if not the Bruins' best defenseman tonight. And AJ Greer was a pleasant surprise. He is for the Bruins this preseason, and netting a few goals himself. But ultimately, we weren't here for them. We were here for the nostalgia. We were all here for the nostalgia bait. We were all here to see Krejci come back, and come back he did. But first of all, I have to ask you all, if you like this, please consider checking out my Twitch page, my twitch.tv page, channel. Also 100 Bex. I stream semi often there. I mostly stream stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, Team Fortress 2, and sometimes Terraria. Sometimes I do stuff like Fallout New Vegas. Just wanted to plug my stuff. Anyway, I came into this game thinking that the Bruins were going to win, but I didn't think that they were going to win in the fashion that they did. And I thought that it was going to be sort of a game where defense kind of takes a backseat for both teams, and the offense speaks for everyone. But that's not what we got. We got Ullmark starting against Darcy. We got Linus Ullmark starting in the first game of the season against Darcy Kemper, starting in his 300th game as an NHL goalie. Congratulations to Mr. Kemper. I love Darcy Kemper. It is impossible for me to dislike him. And pretty much directly out of the gate, the Bruins looked like they were clicking pretty well on offense, on defense. And even with Zboril relegated to the third pair, personally, I don't understand. Personally, there's one reasoning I can understand as to why that they did that, and it's to limit his playtime, and so that we're sure that he's back from the ACL tear, and so Clifton gets starting minutes over him. But honestly, I can see why. But honestly, even with that, I feel like the Bruins were a lot better at clearing out their own end than they were before. And I hope to God that is a sign. That is a sign of things to come. Not long into the game, Carlo gets the Bruins' first penalty this season. A trip on TJ Oshie when let's be honest, Carlo got tripped first. It was definitely like a back and forth on that shit, but Oshie ended up being the one that got tripped second, and it seems like NHL goalies operate the same way as schoolyard teachers. They never see who instigates, only the one who retaliates. And the Bruins end up going on the power play, where they seem to play sort of bend but don't break on the penalty kill. And a success, and it is a big success. Anyway, Zaboral ends up, and you wanted proof of me wanting saying that Zaboral played fantastic this game. Not long after the penalty kill, there was an errant puck that ended up like on the Bruins end of the neutral zone. And Zaboral played hard-nosed defense with the Capitals player who was trying to drive the net with it. If Zaboral isn't there, it is entirely likely that we end up letting in a goal before we score a goal this season. However, Evgeny Kuznetsov ends up getting 2 in the sin bin for high sticking Mike Riley, and with that, and a little bit afterwards, Pastrnak shoots it off of Kemper while he's surrounded, and it lands, and the ricochet ends up pretty much right on in Bergeron's stick, and Bergeron ends up potting the first goal of the season. I am sorry that I'm scratching so much, but it's dry outside. New England fall kind of sucks for people with dry skin, but let's not forget this came on the power play, which is already a massive step up from last year. Remember last year when Wally was making these, I was counting out the consecutive power plays that the Bruins had blown on, and it ended up being like something like, and it ended up being us is ending at like 0-39, 0 for 39 on power play, like through one stretch, and like 3 for 44 through the entirety of April. Well, starting off with our first goal of the season on the power play is definitely a good sign. It's so I don't know if it's as hilarious of a first goal as last year, where our first goal was literally on a fucking penalty shot because of fucking with Marchand. But Bergeron is now at 401 in goals as a Bruin, and putting him one behind Rick Middleton. God damn it, just put Rick Middleton in the Hall of Fame already. Come on. But honestly, I don't think I was really too hot on the Bruins defense this entire game. I think that they played good, but at the same time, I felt like at some points it felt like the Capitals were putting the wash in Washington, and they were just not playing well at all. Especially with the second goal. With Pastrnak being surrounded by like 3 players on the with Pastrnak being surrounded by like 3 players on the Caps, and then giving him just like just like the dude could have gotten a fucking Manny Petty in that triangle if he wanted to, and still would have scored the goal. Like how do you manage that? The Capitals kind of slept through the first period, and I get it. First game of the season, not really one to want to rock the boat too much, but even still, it helps to show some effort. Hall ends up just like bumping Nick Dowd and ends up getting called for. It definitely felt like the refs were a little bit not. I mean, let's be honest. Yes, blaming the refs is kind of fucking stupid, but like that bump against Nick Dowd was kind of like, how did that end up being a penalty? Anyway, we kill it. It takes us to the end of the first period, and then at the start of the second, Taylor Hall gets a beautiful. You know how usually pasta's on like the left side of like the left side of the ice is waiting for a one timer, or waiting for a one time pass across the crease. Well, he ended up being the one delivering the pass across the crease for Taylor Hall to take this game to 3-0. But the Bruins end up getting just a little bit too comfortable, and Dylan Strome just completely outweights the entirety of the Bruins defense. He was the dude had the patience of a fucking monk, of a fucking saint, and and just waited and waited and waited for the Bruins to fuck up, and then passed it, and then tried to pass it to Anthony Mantha. It ended up sort of being a shot, but it bounced off of one of the Bruins defensemen, who is just lying on the ground, and it ended up tricking right to Anthony Mantha, and Mantha's just right there to slam it in. And it was almost saved, but you can't really predict that. I don't, but I still blame the Bruins for that one. That shouldn't have been a goal. You should have been able to be more patient than that, instead of like, don't blink on that shit. And they get another, and the Caps end up getting another one back with Pasta trying to dangle the shit out of Connor Sherry, and it just not working. Sometimes sometimes the best course of action is to just keep your stick on the puck. But Connor Sherry ends up passing to Nick Dowd. Dowd passes back to Sherry, and it's pretty much a 2-on-0 all the way to the net, and Sherry ends up potting the second goal of the game, and I'm like, oh god damn it, don't start the season like this, Bruins. Don't blow a 3-goal lead. And then immediately after, Brandon Carlo gets 2 in the box. I forget what it was for. And then, but he's pretty much in the right place at the right time as soon as the penalty expires. He's in the neutral zone. The puck is sliding right to him, and he just kind of guns it for the Caps goal, which is exactly what he should have done. And the thing is, I think he should have. There were a few shots he could have taken there, and it just happened to be the one shot that he took was the one that got saved. So, oh well. And then we get to period 3. This was sort of the one where I started to take note of the newer Bruins, especially Pavel Zacha, because I feel like Zacha is like really good puck chasing instincts. Like he could definitely be a second line in Marchand in terms of puck chasing, but he also needs to get better at skating. There was one where he's like sticking with a guy deep into the Cap zone, and then the Capital just turns on a dime, and Zacha's has like a turning radius of and Zacha has is like a really shit turning radius on that. It allows him to break away. Then we get 2 consecutive penalties for Caps trying to fuck with Jakub Lauko. Don't fuck with the rookies, please. We need Lauko to we need Lauko. Don't fuck with it, please. So fuck you, Nick Jensen, for holding him, and fuck you, Martin Faravari, for tripping him. And fuck the Caps penalty kill for defeating both of those penalties. And but you ever wondered what would happen if Pasta Pasta pretty much gets a repeat of the first goal of the game, because the first goal of the game was is him shooting and the puck bouncing off of Darcy Kemper right onto Bergeron's stick. This time it bounced off of Kemper and right onto the prodigal son and right onto the stick of the prodigal son himself, David Krejci, who sweeps it up and just pulls it right in for a full to put the Bruins up 4-2. Caps end up pointing Darcy Kemper, and Hampus Lindholm gets a clear shot from like 200 feet away, and just pots the empty netter deep in the Bruins territory to put the Bruins up 5-2, and that seals the deal for the Bruins tonight. Honestly, this was kind of promising. I thought that Ovechkin was going to be a much bigger deal in this game, and that's not to say that he wasn't any sort of issue. Like, we still definitely needed to cover him, but we did. The Bruins definitely did their job tonight, and this I wouldn't exactly say that this gives you like false optimism, but I'm not. But I don't think that I'm really as down on the Bruins as I was like a month and a half ago. Remember, I was like not really feeling these Bruins. I was really not feeling the Bruins a little bit ago. I thought that bringing in Krejci would do little, and it was just a nostalgia move to that would prove to be the worst decision in Don Sweeney's tenure since the entire 2015 draft. By the way, Cam Neely, fuck you for saying that you're tired of talking about 2015. Yes, I know that you're tired of talking about 2015, but maybe you should have. But maybe you should have fucking done your research and drafted better. You dingus. Anyway, the Bruins' next game is on Saturday against the Arizona Coyotes, the home opener, and 2 days afterwards we get the Panthers at home. Honestly, I feel good about these opening three games. I think that we can definitely. I think that we can go through. I think that we can start the season 3-0, or at the very, very worst, 2-1, 2-0-1. I think that the team that's going to give us the most trouble is the Panthers. But I mean, they gave away their best forward and one of their best defensemen for a comparable forward. I know that I shouldn't take Matthew Tkachuk lightly, but I feel a lot better with the Matthew Tkachuk Panthers than I do with the Johnny Gaudreau with the not Johnny Gaudreau. Fuck. I'm completely blanking. It is 10 o'clock, and I'm kind of drunk. So before I make an even bigger fool of myself, I'm just gonna call the episode here. Thank you all so much for watching, and click like if you like, click subscribe if you really like, and make sure to check out my my Twitch channel. And this is 100 Beck saying, I am so happy that the Bruins are back, and I am so happy that this Czech line is contributing.